Hello, ladies and gentlemen. As promised, I'm going to give you a little screencast here to show you how to solve by factoring. These two first examples are examples where I have no constant term. If you remember, ax squared plus bx plus c is standard form. Notice in these two, this is missing. I don't have this. So that means I've got a common factor. Maybe more than just x, but at least I've got x. So that's what I'm going to be doing here, is I'm going to be taking a look at how to solve with this. This is review. We've done this before. So when I look at 2x squared and 6x, what I need to do here is factor out that greatest common factor. 2 is a common factor between 2 and 6, and they both have x. So 2x is my greatest common factor. That leaves me with x minus 3. When I'm solving equal to 0, either this is going to equal 0 or this will equal 0. In each case, I need to solve for x. So I'm going to take this, just divide by 2. The only way I can get 2 times x to equal 0 is when x equals 0. So that's one of my solutions. Here, if x minus 3 equals 0, x has to equal 3. So that's my other solution for this. So what I need to do now is in this, I need to take a look at what the common factor is. And that common factor, again, is 2x. But what ends up happening is that I still have coefficients for both. So I'm going to end up with 2x as my common factor. 2x times 2x is 4x squared, plus 2x times 3, so I still get a 3 there, is 6x. This is still equal to 0. Don't forget that equals 0 part, because it plays an important role to keep you in mind what's going on. So again, either 2x is going to equal to 0. There's one factor. X equals 0 is your first solution. Or here's where it's a little different. 2x plus 3 is equal to 0, which makes 2x equal negative 3. So x equals negative 1.5. And you could leave that as negative 3 halves also if you wanted to. Taking a look at this now, so these are going to be my solutions to this. So each time I had factor equal to 0. Factor equal to 0. So let's take each of those pieces and set them equal to 0. So when I'm looking at this one, here we go. I'm going to do the same thing, but I'm going to factor. Now, these are the new ways of factoring that we talked about before. So when I'm looking at these new ways of factoring, I want to, again, find my factors of negative 21, where because this is negative, the bigger of the two factors is going to have to be negative. So all my factors on this side are going to be negative. Come on, work. So 21 doesn't have very many factors. I got 1 and negative 21, and I have 3 and negative 7. That's it. So the only ones that's going to give me what I need is this right here. So here I have x plus 3 times x minus 7, and that equals 0. Let me do a different color here. And so each factor is equal to 0. So either x plus 3 has to equal 0, so I get 0 times this, or x minus 7 has to equal 0, so I get x plus 3 times 0. So find each one. X plus 3 equals 0, so x has to equal negative 3. That's one of my solutions. That's one of the x-intercepts. Here, x plus, minus 7. Let's erase that. X minus 7 is equal to 0. So x equals, stop, here we go, 7. So x equals 7. So those are my two solutions. Because this is equal to 0, that means that this parabola, x squared minus 4x minus 21, is going to intersect the x-axis at x equals negative 3 and x equals 7. Here, with number 4, let me change colors again. With number 4, I can't do anything until this is equal to 0. And I believe I put that on your sheet, all right? It's got to equal, it looks like a C. Be careful, get the equation equal to 0 before factoring. So I'm going to subtract 11x from both sides. X squared minus 11x plus 18 equals 0. I put it in standard form so that I remember, okay, what factors of 18 are going to add up to 11? They're both going to be negative. This one kind of jumps out at me. X minus 2, x minus 9 equals 0. So now, again, take each one. Let me change color. And let's do this pinkish color. So this equals 0. Because if this is 0, this whole thing is 0, then this whole x minus 2 times x minus 9 is going to equal 0. So if that would be the case when x is equal to 2. X minus 9 equals 0. That'll be the case when x equals 9. So those are my two solutions for this one. And if I put it in there, 2 squared is 4 plus 11, plus 18 is 22. 11 times 2 is 22. So both sides equal each other. Same thing here. 9 squared is 81 plus 18 is 99. 11 times 9 is 99. So those two things are equal. So those answers check. You always want to make sure that they check. So the last one that we have is, let me erase this because that kind of fell off the screen here, is the same type of thing. It's already in standard form, but it doesn't have that leading coefficient of 1. Usually we want that to be 1. But if I look carefully, I've got those 3 numbers that are all multiples of 3. So I'm going to pull that outside. So I'm going to do 3 times, divide everything by 3. X squared minus 4x minus 32 equals 0. Now, this piece doesn't really have any part in the solution because 3 is never going to equal 0. So when factoring, I need it there. But when I'm solving, I just now need to deal with this. And my factors here, negative 32. And my bigger one is going to be negative. So all these are going to be negative. So I have 1 and negative 32. I have 2 and negative 16. That doesn't work. 3 doesn't go into 32. 4 and negative 8. Oh, that one will work. Those are all the factors anyway. So 4 and negative 8 are going to be the ones that I want. So I want x plus 4 and x minus 8 equals 0. Each one gets set equal to 0 to solve. X plus 4 equals 0. So x equals negative 4. X minus 8 equals 0. So x equals 8. So it's not as hard as it all looks. It's the same process each time. It's called, let's see if I can make this work. Let's do that. It's called the zero product property. And that is what we're doing. If it equals 0, then you want 2 factors and set each one equal to 0. Well, I'm just about out of time, so please use this. I will also upload this document if I can, so that you can see that. If it's not up there, that means stuff got cut off and I won't be able to do it. So good luck, and make sure